How was your year last year? Was it a year that you were happy with and did things turn out the way you expected? Or was it a year that you'd rather forget and just move on from? No matter what your answer is, now is a great time to hit that reset button as we move into the new year. And if you want to find out how I do that, then keep watching because I'm going to share that with you right now. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, My Extraordinary Ordinary, and welcome to the very first video of 2022. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yet here we are. And what better topic to talk about in the first video of the year than setting that reset button as we go into a brand new year. That's what I want to talk to you about today. I don't really believe in setting New Year's resolutions, and if you know me personally or you've been subscribed to my channel for any length of time, then you know that I'm a certified personal trainer, so you can well imagine that I have heard my share of New Year's resolutions through the years. Now, if you're finding my channel for the very first time, then welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Danielle, and I create motivational content here on YouTube, so if that's your thing, I'd love it if you'd hit the subscribe button down below and join the My Extraordinary Ordinary family. Now, although I don't believe in setting New Year's resolutions, I do believe that the brand new year is a great time to hit that reset button and really think about what you want and what you don't want in the year ahead so that you can have the most productive, successful, and happy year to come. I think that's really important. I've got 4, maybe 5 things that I want to share with you today that are pretty simple that I like to do personally when I hit my reset button. Now, I didn't say they were easy. They're simple to do, but they are going to require you to set aside some time. So you really want to put that time in your calendar and set aside some quiet, uninterrupted time so you can think through some of these things and accomplish this. Now, the very first thing that you want to do when you decide that you want to hit that reset button so you can have the best year moving forward is you want to look back on this last year. You want to look back on this last year so you can see what worked for you, what didn't, what you accomplished and what you didn't accomplish, and why you didn't accomplish it. And you need to assess whether those things that you didn't accomplish, those goals that you didn't achieve, are still important to you in this upcoming year. You might find that they're not anymore, and you might find that they still are, and you need to really look at that. Now, I want to caution you, when you do this, don't get stuck. This is definitely not a time for you to beat yourself up or feel badly about the things that didn't go the way you wanted them to or things you didn't accomplish. Try to keep emotion out of it and just really look at this last year as a learning experience so that you can do better moving forward. Now, hitting the reset button can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And for some people, it could mean that you need to take a break and really pull yourself back from some burnout. Have you ever had a time period, maybe it was a year, I hope it wasn't a whole entire year, but I know for some people it has been a whole year, where you have felt like you've gone at a frenzied pace, that you've just been running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you have just felt completely burnt out. And if that's you, then you definitely need to hit that reset button. When I think of hitting the reset button, I most commonly think of my blow dryer. I have really long, thick hair, and sometimes when it's really wet and I'm blow drying my hair, if I don't take a break, my blow dryer will simply conk out. It'll stop because the motor overheats and it just gets too hot, because blow drying my hair is actually a really big job, and it just needs a minute, and then all I have to do is hit that little yellow button on my blow dryer, which is the reset button. After it's had a little bit of time, then it's refreshed and it can just start again and everything is fine. I don't have to unplug it and plug it back in or do anything else. I just have to wait a little bit and then hit that reset button and it works just fine again. Sometimes for some of us, hitting that reset button could mean simply that you need to step back and breathe and take a break. Give yourself permission to take a break, indulge in some self-care if you need it, and slow down a little bit. For some people, it could mean setting some boundaries and making some decisions around the people you want in your life and the people that you don't want in your life. Whatever that means for you, but you really need to think about this last year, not just in terms of your job and money and maybe your health, but also in terms of your relationships and your quality of life. What kind of life do you really want to have? I really want you to take a second, close your eyes, and really visualize. Think about if you could craft for yourself the most perfect life that you could possibly have. What would that look like to you? what would really make you happy, what would really bring you joy, what would you want your most desirable life to look like. Now I know some of you probably don't want to do this because you think this is all pie in the sky, you're never going to have a perfect life, and you're right, none of us will, but I think it's very valuable to think about those things because I think you're going to find that for a lot of people it's not what you might think. It doesn't necessarily mean having a lot of money, it doesn't necessarily mean not having to work. It really means for a lot of people having some stable and solid good relationships. It means having less drama, having less stress, having less busyness that really isn't important to them. And I don't know about you, but for me, COVID has taught me to enjoy a simpler, slower, and quieter life, and I found less enjoyment in things and a lot more enjoyment in people. And I know for myself in this upcoming year, that's something that I really want to focus on, is my relationships and really spending time with the people that I care about, because time is the one commodity that we can't replace once it's gone. And so that to me is one of the most valuable commodities that I have. So take a look at your previous year, decide what things are important to you going into this next year, and what things you might want to change, what things really didn't work out. And I want you to really think about some of those intangible things like your relationships and your time, and some things you might want to change in this upcoming year as you assess your previous year. Now the second thing that you want to do is you want to think about the goals that you have. And I'm not going to delve into this because I did a whole series on goals. I think it was like a 4-part series. I will link it above and below, but I started out talking about really everything from defining your mission statement and your purpose in life all the way to the other end of the spectrum, how goals can really help you leave a legacy for your family. So it's very in depth. I suggest that you watch that if you're curious about that. I do believe that goals are really important, but I want to caution you again, this takes some time. You really do need to be willing to set aside some uninterrupted time to sit down and do this. And some of the areas that I set goals in are spiritual. I want to grow in my spiritual life, my walk with God. Family, that's really important to me. Obviously my career goals and my job is also very important to me, and financial goals are important. Of course, health and fitness is very important to me, as you can well imagine. And financial goals, those are some of the areas that I like to set my goals in. But you want to set aside some time to set some goals. Now the fourth thing that I recommend you do is really evaluate your goals, because part of the reason that you might not have been satisfied with your last year, and maybe you didn't reach some of your goals last year, is because maybe some of the goals that you set for yourself or some of the things that you had hoped to accomplish were not realistic. And this is where I think it's really important in this fourth step to evaluate whether you need to consult with a professional. I think when we set goals that are too lofty or not realistic, we set ourselves up for failure, and that's not good. So it's really valuable, and although consulting with a professional will cost you some money, it can save you money in the long run. It can definitely save you time, and it can also give you more joy and more fulfillment as you accomplish some things that are really important to you. So whether that be a financial advisor, whether that be a pastor at your church for your spiritual goals, whether that be a certified counselor or a therapist to help you with your mental health and some goals surrounding that, or whether that be a personal trainer to help you with your fitness goals, I'm here. I would definitely love to help you. That's a shameless plug, but seriously, you can DM me on Instagram or leave me a comment if you do want me to reach out to you. I'd be happy to talk to you. But if you're in doubt about some goals that you have in mind, I would highly recommend that you take the time and spend the money to talk to a professional. I know for myself, one goal I have for this upcoming year is to look at investing more and learn a little bit more about investing. And I already have someone in mind that I'm going to be working with and talking to help me with this goal. I think that's really important. Now the next step in hitting that reset button and being successful at doing it is really holding yourself accountable. And I think this is where a lot of people fall down in this process. They don't do this step, and it's really, really key. You need to find a way to hold yourself accountable. So again, if that means hiring a professional in your field of endeavor that you have goals in, and I know for me, that's why a lot of people hire me, because they need help with their physical fitness goals, and they find it really beneficial to work with a trainer. I know I've worked with several trainers in the past, and I love it. I find it very beneficial. Whether that's a financial advisor, personal trainer, certified therapist or counselor, or whoever it might be in that field of endeavor, that automatically is someone that will help hold you accountable to your goals in that area. So that's really beneficial. In the process of finding an accountability partner, I think it's really important to choose wisely. Really choose a trusted friend or family member, someone who would be genuinely happy to see you succeed at your goals. That's really, really important. When you have things you want to accomplish and you also say them out loud, you really start the process of making those goals more realities. It's really important to do that. And like I said, I'm not going to belabor the point of goals. You can go and watch those videos. But I think that step of accountability is so important. So make sure you do that. And going along with finding an accountability partner and really becoming accountable to your goals, it's really also important when we talk about those intangible goals like relationships, like maybe setting some boundaries. I also did a video series on boundaries. I think boundaries are super important, so I will link that above and below as well if you do want to check that out. But sometimes, in order to set the reset button, in order to manage our stress better or decrease our stress, we really have to weed out some negative people in our life, some toxic people. That can be super hard to do. So finding that accountability partner that can really help encourage you in that process is really important, because again, it's not a tangible goal like I want to save $1,000 within 6 months. That's something that we can tangibly see that we're doing, but something that's a little more intangible, we might not really see that as clearly. So having that accountability partner can be so valuable in that regard. The last thing that I would encourage you to do, and this is kind of a bonus tip, is just to relax and don't be too legalistic and don't be too hard on yourself. I think sometimes we really are hard on ourselves. We really have to watch the negative self-talk. We really have to watch the way we treat ourselves and the way we talk to ourselves, because oftentimes we find the way that we talk to ourselves is a way that we never talk to even a stranger. We really have to be kind to ourselves. We have to understand that we will make mistakes, we will falter, we will maybe not accomplish things that we want to accomplish. Maybe we won't do some things that we say that we want to do, and that's okay, because it's going to happen through the year to all of us. But the beauty of setting the reset button is that it can be done over and over and over again, as many times as you need to do it through the year. That is the beauty of this. It doesn't just happen at the beginning of the year, but for me, it happens several times throughout the year. Trust me, I make so many mistakes. I fall down so many times. And there's times that I'm really discouraged and I think, wow, I feel like such a big failure. But the biggest mistake you can make is not to keep setting that reset button when you falter or when you fail or when you don't do something you want to do. Hit that reset button again. Really tell yourself, it's okay, I'm going to get back up, I'm going to try again. That's why your accountability partner is there. You can do it. Now, although these steps aren't necessarily the easiest to carry out throughout the year, they are simple to start, and I believe that this process is relatively simple to get going, and this is why I like to do my reset this way. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below how you plan to reset your new year. I'd love to hear from you. I really appreciate everybody who watches my videos. I'm so excited to bring you some new content in this upcoming year. If there's any topics that you want me to talk about or cover, please let me know that in the comments as well. I will look forward to seeing you in my next video, and remember to make your everyday ordinary life extraordinary.